I also bought a bright pink fur coat with red love heart pockets that arrived today that I was very excited about. It's the most gorgeous coat I've ever seen in my life. But when I put it on, I looked like one of them pink and white marshmallows. I just looked like the Michelin Man wearing Kirby. It's not a good look.
Oh, sore throat. Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. As always, you're here with me, Consummatious Ant.
And me, Atreya.
And today we are going to be talking about the Cock Lane ghost.
Oh, grow up. The Cock Lane ghost.
Yes.
Do I know this one?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see, won't we?
Not much I don't know about cocks.
Well, exactly. I mean, it is. If you'd heard about it, you'd remember it, I suppose.
Well, a podcast with one.
So, fine. Not only is this one of the best names for a street, but it was one of the most famous streets in Old London town. Now, it was located less than half a mile from St Paul's Cathedral, and it has a lot of history. In the 1400s, as in today, sex work was illegal in London, but because Cock Lane was outside the city walls, it was tolerated here. And at least...
Is that why it was called Cock Lane?
Yeah. At least 2 brothels existed on the street, and people were allowed to go about their business unmolested. Now, this is kind of where it got its name from in the beginning. A lot of streets back then were named after what goes on in them streets.
Cock Lane just off Vagina Terrace.
Yeah. So, it is also the furthest place that the Great Fire of London reached in 1666. Now, even though it's only half a mile away from St Paul's, 13,500 homes were destroyed in the fire. And in today's prices, that would be £1.79 billion worth of damage was done.
Baker has got so much to answer for.
Yeah, the Great Fire of London. But this takes place in 1762. Now, Cock Lane in that time wasn't attracting any more firemen, but it did have a different kind of clientele it was attracting. And with that clientele came some lucky-loos who just wanted to walk down the street and have a look. But in 1762, these lucky-loos weren't there for the aforementioned sex workers. They were there because of a bona fide haunting on the street. Or so it would seem. Now, this isn't even the beginning, and we've not even peaked at the puns yet, because if you can believe it, this haunting involved someone called Fanny Lyons.
Of course it does.
And if you actually want to search for this, the actual name that this goes by is Scratching Fanny.
No.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to be composed after all of this, but
no, you're not.
I know. So it is actually, if you want to look it up, don't click on the first link you get from Scratching Fanny, obviously, because
don't use one source.
Yeah, obviously you'll get some videos that I spent time investigating, which, well, they made me sleepy afterwards. Let's put it that way. But
somebody has safe search off.
Yeah. Got to keep me MI5 agents entertained. This,
Yeah, I think the MI5 agents by this point have just binned you off as a dirty perv.
I'm just all right. He's not even going to do it. He can't even do anything. He can't move. The amount of dirty socks he's surrounded by, he's never going to move. This story as well also has Samuel Johnson in it. That's right, the Samuel Johnson who wrote about aardvarks and zebras and the creator of the first English dictionary. He was part of this.
But was he the creator of the first English dictionary? Because there's no proof, because Blackadder accidentally chucked it in the fire.
Well, exactly. I mean, he did write about a couple of sizzling gypsies. And he was discombobulated when he was introduced to new words. So, back to the story. William Kent was somewhat of an unethical money lender. He would lend out money when he came into it at an exorbitant rate of interest, and if he didn't get it back, he wouldn't break knees or anything, but he'd go down the legal route of suing people to be able to get his money back, and he did this quite well. He made quite a lot of money. But
so like National Provident nowadays.
Yeah, like Wonga,
like
if that's still a thing.
It's not, because they got found out.
Yeah. Now, Kent married Elizabeth Lyons in around 1756. Elizabeth's family were not impressed with Kent. Now, this could be for a number of factors, whether it was due to his occupation, the fact that Elizabeth died during childbirth, or the fact that he went on to move in with Elizabeth's sister.
I think it's probably the last one. Yeah. It's probably the last one.
If I had to guess,
It's a pretty dick move.
It is.
Also, it's a pretty dick move on the part of her sister as well, really.
It is, and it's interesting you use that because her sister's name was Fanny. So, Fanny and Dick lived together.
Maybe that's why they got together. They were like, look, it's already in the stars.
Yeah. You couldn't write this. So Fanny stayed on living with Kent to help him grieve and get over her sister. In that old adage of the best way to get over someone is to get under someone.
Under someone else, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in 1759, Kent moved to London to try and move on from, quote, that passion he had unfortunately indulged in, and earn a more honourable living. Fanny stayed living in Lynham with one of her brothers. Now, shortly after this, Fanny started writing letters to Kent, and these were filled with repeated entries to spend the rest of their lives together.
Your dead sister's turning in a grave, Fanny. What you playing at?
Yeah. Now, Kent, it didn't take Kent long. Maybe you weren't getting any action down in London, but he buckled under these passionate letters. I don't know how passionate they were, considering that is what they said in them.
It wasn't very passionate in them days, though, was it?
It was. It really, really. I know I've been reading a lot about Victorian times, and it just. I don't know how people got on back then.
Yeah.
Because it's
very, very subdued, very sober.
You hold someone's hand and you're stuck with them for the rest of your lives. No wonder there was so many poisonings back then. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would love to gaze upon your eyelashes.
Yeah.
Marry me now.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Today it's just like Grindr. See you around the back of Tesco's in 20.
Grindr?
The one Tinder.
Aren't you married to a woman?
I don't even know what dating apps are.
I'm not going to have a conversation with Carolina at all.
So Kent buckled and he arranged for Fanny to join.
You can't do it, can you?
I can't. Fucking Fanny, Jesus. Who calls it there? Anyway, to join him in...
Everyone in Victorian times, apparently.
London, apparently so. No irony back then either.
But you could only call your girl kid like 5 different things. You could call her Fanny, Pearl, Constance, what was the one with P? It's not like Providence or something. It's some stupid thing like that. Yeah. And like charity.
Charity.
You had to use something like that. It was like 5 names, and that was it.
You only had the Bible names, really, didn't you? That's it.
But no one was called Eve.
Very true.
Or Lilith.
No. Or Cain. But I suppose I can see the reasons why. Probably why no one's called Adolf today, really.
I feel like there's at least one person called Adolf.
Yeah, probably a few. Well, with fucking...
With the way the world's going now, it's probably promoted.
Jesus.
Be individual.
Elon Musk owning Twitter. I bet he'll be fucking tweeting that. Fucking hell, yeah. Whatever happened to the name Adolf? Got such a bad press just for that one guy.
One guy?
Ruins it for everyone. So, Ken spirited Fanny away to join him in London. Now, he had to do this quite sneakily because they were obviously living in sin at the time. I mean, even more sin than an unmarried couple living together. He was diddling his sister-in-law, basically. So he didn't do this as sneakily as he would have wished, because in the first place they both rocked up to. The landlord was made aware by Fanny's family, and they were pretty much asked to move on. Now, this was after the landlord, after Ken had given the landlord a loan of £20, and the landlord basically turned around and said, "I'm not going to pay you back your £20. Get out of my house and I'll keep your secret." Which,
I mean, that's low.
Yeah.
It's also London.
Exactly, and you got to make a profit. So Ken actually did get him arrested for defaulting on a loan. So obviously after that, living under the same roof got a little bit tense with each other. Now, the reason why this was so... I mean, everything was odd back then, I suppose, but the reason why this was so bad, even though in today's age we get stepsisters getting stuck in various appliances all around the house and people are free to do whatever they want to them, back in the 1800s, canon law was considered more important than actual law. And because Ken and Elizabeth's child had survived the birth, even though he only survived it by a month, any in-laws were off piece. They were not allowed. He couldn't, because he'd already procreated with that family. So therefore, by canon law, it's a no-no. Now, after leaving the lodgings, they had the luck of meeting Richard Parsons at the morning prayers. Now, as well as being an adult singer at the church, Parson was also a drunk, and he was constantly going through money troubles. So
that's why he was the singer at the local church. He was always drunk and just busking for money in the church.
Pretty much.
You're simply the best.
True. There are no...
Have a halfpenny, Parsons.
Yeah, shut up, please. I mean, he doesn't say he was a good singer. Maybe they paid him to shut up.
Maybe.
Upon hearing about the couple's troubles, Kent and Fanny were still trying to pass themselves off as husband and wife at this point, and they were kind of down on the luck. Oh, woe is us kind of thing. Parsons offered them a room at his home out of sympathy, and he thought it was his godly duty or whatever. Now, his home was 25 Cock Lane. Just throw that in there. But this sympathy had nothing to do with the 12 guinea loan that Ken had promised him after they moved in. Now, after a few months, and while Fanny was several months pregnant, their secret was revealed. Sources are conflicted on whether it was Ken in a drunken state, just opening up to Parsons, or whether it was the fact that when Kent was away on business, Fanny stayed with the Parsons' eldest daughter, Betty, and tried to open up to her. She let the secret out. It's unknown, but after the bombshell dropped, this is where the hauntings began. And there were strange noises heard around the house, and not usually noises that would be kind of considered normal on somewhere called Cock Lane. So Betty, who was 11, and Fanny, they started hearing scratching and knocking noises. Now, these were localised. They weren't actually at first. No one thought there was anything weird about it. In fact, Parsons' wife attributed it to the cobblers next door. But after a few days, and especially after Sunday when the cobbler wasn't working, these noises continued. Then the rumours started to spread. The landlord of a nearby pub, James Franzen, popped round and was the first to witness the scratchings. He heard them, and he also claimed to see a white ghostly figure walk upstairs while he was at the property.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
I heard knockings, and then I saw a full ghost. It was a ghost, a full one. It was walking up the stairs. It was white and ghosty.
Yeah, I think this could have been like a proper... Like, if he's not made it up, it's kind of like someone's put a sheet over them. And just as he's on the way out, he's just caught in the corner of his eye, someone walking up the stairs. Or
it's someone walking up the stairs in painter's overalls. We've been down this road
Exactly. And then he got shot.
Yeah.
Because Fanny was well pregnant by this point, Ken moved her out of the Parsons' home to a nearby flat so she could get some rest and she wouldn't be disturbed by all these scratchings and all these people coming around to observe them. Now, this was a dumb move because not only was it they move into just a one-room place, it was absolutely disgusting. And Fanny was diagnosed with an eruptive fever shortly after the move. Now, an eruptive fever, if you need to know, was kind of a euphemism for smallpox at the time. And she kind of contracted it from living in this flat. So, yeah.
Sounds like a council house.
Yeah, pretty much, but just a one-room council house with smallpox. So, when Kent and Fanny first got together, they both signed everything over to each other. So if something would happen to one or the other, then the other person that was still alive would get all their stuff. Now...
Fools.
Yeah. So... if Fanny were to die, then obviously Kent would receive everything. Now, no surprises for guessing that when Fanny died with her unborn child in January 1790, Kent's in-laws were not very happy with this situation, and they actually challenged the will.
Well, yeah, because now he's killed 2 of their kids.
Yeah. So he's leaving kind
Technically
of...
4 if you count the kids.
Exactly, yeah. He's leaving a lot of in-laws in his wake here. Now, because Fanny had given her surviving siblings the bare minimum, which was £5,000, the will was absolutely bulletproof, and Kent received over £200 from Fanny's estate, which was her inheritance from her brother's estate, and land adding up to £95. Now, I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but back then, this was kin.
Put it this way, if my sister leaves me £5,000, I'll be fucking wounded. I'll be really pissed off that she couldn't, snap it in half for a first. But why? I've got 2 ears, it needs to balance on my head. And secondly, if she left me 200 quid, yeah, okay, I'll take 200 quid.
Yeah, so there is a minimum amount that you have to leave, because obviously with wills and everything, as soon as someone dies, everyone comes climbing out the woodwork, don't they? Mm-hmm. So there is a minimum amount you can legally leave someone. I don't know how much it is, but there is a minimum amount that you can leave someone, and you can do it to all your family and then give the rest of your money to your cats, and they can't do shit about it because you have left them that legal
Could you not
amount.
just leave nothing to your family? You could be
No.
like, you're a bunch of bastards. I hate you all. You're not having anything.
You could do, but then they could contest the will, and then they can prove or try and prove it's up to them, and then it's litigation, But if you leave this minimum amount, so like if it's a tenner, then the judge...
What it is nowadays.
I genuinely don't know, but I know there is a minimum amount. I think... I don't know. I was looking. I did see something in America, and I think it's $1,000 in America. But
I haven't got that much to spread amongst all of them. Never
Exactly.
mind each.
But I think it goes off your net worth, what your estate's worth. If your estate is worth this much, then there's a percentage. I don't know.
Oh, I don't have an estate, and my bank balance by the time I die will be worth £2.47 probably. They can share it out between them.
Yeah.
But I'd rather that the cat's got everything.
Yeah, to be honest with you, they can fight over my will as much as they want, because half of nothing is still fucking nothing, isn't it?
Fuck
Really?
all.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know what? Good luck to you.
Yeah.
So, by 1761, amazingly, Kent had moved on pretty sharpish, and he was married.
This guy's a douchebag.
He is a real douchebag. But he'd remarried, yet he was still owed 3 guineas from the loan that he gave to Parsons. Now, he decided to sue him for the remainder, and this is where it almost goes pear-shaped for Kent. Now, 3 guineas is 3 guineas, but after he started these proceedings against Parsons, the strange noises again once started in 25 Cock Lane. So
Funny that.
yeah, amazing. And I'm amazed that it lasted as long as it lasts with this, that no one just goes, can you not see what's happening here, or do we have to go through all this rigmarole?
So what was the purpose of what was the purpose of the poltergeist in this? Like, what's he getting out of pretending that his place is haunted?
So basically, Parsons wanted to be let off with this loan, and he wanted to try and extort Kent for more money to keep their secret, because he was like living with Fanny. He didn't think Kent would move out. He didn't think that Kent would go, nah, I know what you're doing, idiot, and I'm not having it. He thought the secret of them living in sin was worse than 12 guinea loan.
But where does the poltergeist come into this?
So
what's the point of the tapping and the knocking?
So in the first instance, well, get through to it in a minute, right?
Okay.
So it turned out right. So Parsons actually paid up his loan, but before he did, he called witnesses to hear the scratches and the knocks continue. Now, one of these was John Moore, who was a rector. Rector? I hardly knew her. Of St. Bartholomew the Great. And they came up with the now standard and universal 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no response for the dead. So it turned out that while Fanny was on her deathbed, she claimed that she had seen her sister Elizabeth, like Kent's wife, who had died during childbirth.
She's just standing in the corner going, fuck you, Fanny.
Yeah, you bitch, you deserve it. I can't wait till you get here. Ooh, I've got something to tell you. So, what was, because of the seances that they did, the first knocking and scratching while Fanny lived there was apparently Elizabeth, the sister, coming to visit them and saying, oh, this isn't on, I'm knocking and scratching. Don't know what that's going to achieve, but... Well, it actually achieved Fanny's death, because they moved out because of the knocking and the scratching, then Fanny died. Then, so, to the Lucky Loos and the witnesses that came round, this made absolutely perfect sense. The spirit of Kent's wife has appeared to warn her sister that something untoward was going on, like Kent may be doing something to you, maybe like watch out, like he did to me, so be careful. And then, as soon as Kent moved on, and the knocking started again, this was Fanny coming back from the grave.
Would there not be double the knocking? Because it'd be Fanny and Elizabeth at this point.
You would think that they would have this kind of sisterly bond going on, but apparently just...
Maybe Elizabeth was just like, oh, fuck it, I've done it for like 8 months or something, it's your fucking turn now. Crack on, pet.
Maybe that's what it is. They were taking it in turns. They were tag teaming it in. When one got tired, the other one came.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Who knows? But this is what the witnesses and what Parsons was trying to say, that Fanny had returned from the grave to try and insinuate that Kent had done away with her. Regardless that she had smallpox, and the doctors confirmed that she had smallpox, she died of smallpox, regardless of that doesn't matter. So, along with the bog standard gawkers who just wanted to find out a bit of gossip, journalists started to frequent Cock Lane. I mean, I'm sure they did anyway, but this time they were trying to find a story, not trying to find something else. And soon after, reports of the knocks and scratchings appeared in the world-renowned The Public Ledger. Now, it is world-renowned because its final edition was in 2017. It was the longest-running magazine. And
nice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't due
Good for
to its
them.
hard-hitting headlines or anything like that. I don't know how it managed that long. But that's quite interesting. It lasted for like nearly 250 years.
That's impressive.
Indeed. So, Kent obviously wasn't living in the area at this time, but he read about the situation and he was livid because he was being slandered from beyond the grave, and at worst he was being accused of murder of pretty much 4 people. Really,
I
no
mean,
smoke without fire. Really. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
What?
Light went on and off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the ghost. It's Fanny.
At some point, I'm gonna fucking see the pantry ghost in that door. I wish you would just move your computer desk, okay? It gives me fucking palpitations. Like, I expect to keep seeing the fucking girl from The Ring, just at the door. Like,
it's alright, I've got a Cock Lane after this.
Yes. Find that and grind it, did you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Lips are sealed.
So.
I love that. Just as you went, your camera like went out of focus and into focus, like it almost zoomed in on you.
Oh, is it warm in here? Oh.
Well, yes, it fucking is warm, and because you're wearing a hat, a neck scarf, and a hoodie.
Oh, it's cost of living crisis. So, as the noises had been emanating from the room of Betty, and only when Betty was present in the room, mainly when she was asleep in the bed, and they still couldn't fucking figure it out, a seance was set up in a room on the 14th of January 1762. Now, Kent, Parsons and Moore and several Lucky-Loos piled into Betty's bedroom to try and get to the bottom of the noises and these accusations. Now, this is a sign of the times, but Betty was undressed in front of a crowd of people and put into bed.
A sign of what times? Like the 1500s when they were fucking doing the wedding ceremony?
Just weird. It gets, trust me, you think this is weird. It gets. Look, we're close to the tip of the iceberg, but we're not there yet. Trust me. Samuel Johnson hadn't even appeared yet, so come on. So, when the crowd wiped the drool from their mouths, they started waiting for this ghost to appear. After a while, nothing had happened, and Parsons told the crowd they were making too much noise, and the ghost was shy.
The ghost sounds shy.
Yeah.
A shy ghost.
So, the crowd filed out of the room, But a few minutes later, Parson called back in and claimed to have made contact with Fanny.
No.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
There was questions asked. So the first question was, are you the wife of Mr. Kent? So, 2 knocks. Did you die naturally? 2 knocks. By poison? 1 knock.
Your Honour, leading questions.
Objection!
Leading the witness.
Did any person other than Mr. Kent administer it? 2 knocks.
Did Mr. Kent kill you?
Pretty
2
much,
knocks.
yeah.
Your Honour, I rest my case.
Exactly. We're done here. Where's the black cap? Come on. So
bullshit.
The audience weren't impressed at this, which goes to show, right? They had a lot more. They had a lot more entertainment on Cock Lane than they do nowadays. I'll tell you that. But one of them shouted out, "Ask this ghost if you shall be hanged," and Kent did so. And the question was answered by a single knock. Kent exclaimed, "Thou art a lying spirit. Thou art not the ghost of my Fanny."
Oh, so now he's changed his mind.
Yeah. She would never have said any such thing.
Times has changed, mate. She's pissed at you.
Yeah. There's what's that woman scorned thing? Hell hath
no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah, I tell you. I bet when you kill her, she gets proper pissed off.
Bitch, I got something more important for you.
Wait till you get down here. Up here.
Ever heard escapism? I'm going to introduce you to it. When you're dead, it hurts so much more. Because you can't die.
Yeah, like pushing that boulder up the hill. Yeah. The next week, on the 19th of January, Kent's maid, Esther Carrots Carlisle.
Carrots?
It was a nickname. Can you guess why?
Ginger.
Yeah, they didn't have much imagination back then. She was invited to a seance at Cock Lane, and beforehand she was questioned about the last days of Fanny's life and whether or not Fanny had been poisoned. Esther told them that Fanny had been unable to speak in the days before her death, and William and Fanny had been a very loving and lived very happy together. Again, they went through the rigmarole of undressing the child in front of a crowd, sent them out again because the ghost was shy, then invited them back in a few minutes later. Now, in this one, Esther spoke to the ghost directly. She said, "Are you my mistress?" There was 1 knock, followed by scratches. "Are you angry with me, ma'am?" 1 knock. "Then I am sure, ma'am, you may be ashamed of yourself, for I never hurt you in life." Now, it's difficult to pinpoint where this scam, and if you hadn't already worked it out that it is a scam, then spoiler alert, I'm really sorry, but it kind of fell apart. Now, it could have been when at one seance, a member of the audience laid down in the bed as soon as everybody got in the room, and they wouldn't move to let the child get in the bed, so they called the seance off. Well, they didn't call the seance off, they still had it with the child sat there, but they heard no scratching and knocking.
How tired do you have to be? No, I'm not moving. I'm just staying here. This is apart from the fact that this is not your bed, this is not your house. Don't care. I'm knackered.
Yeah, I think he was A, either really, really sleepy, or B, try to prove a point that the noises were emanating from the bed that a child was allegedly sleeping in. Now, it could have been that, or it could have been when Parsons refused to do a seance with Betty after he got word that Kent had investigating what had actually been going on. Or it could have been when Prince Edward, the younger brother of the fucking king, turned up to Cock Lane to witness the crazy shit going on.
Why?
Because this was all in the news. This was a major thing, apparently. And he
But
left
he's part of the royal family.
disappointed as nothing happened.
You didn't see Princess Margaret showing up at the fucking Enfield Horton. She had more important shit to do.
So, what I'm just going to say here is time moves on, but sure as eggs is eggs, the king's younger brother will always turn up to a house where a minor is being forcibly undressed.
Wow, okay. You kept that one in. You kept it. Okay.
So, maybe it's just something about the royal family and minors. Maybe. Haunted was just... Oh, there's a ghost, is there? Where's the child? Where's the child?
You see that?
Anyway.
You see that there?
Yeah.
That's Katie the carrot as the Queen. The Queen of England.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna say... Anyway.
A royalist.
King's younger brothers and aunts. Anyway, so on the 1st of February, Samuel Johnson got involved, and he went he loved that dictionary because he used 436 words to describe that the seance that he turned up at, basically nothing happened and it was a hoax, which paradoxically was a word that wasn't part... Hoax wasn't a word that was in the 436 he used to describe.
What were some of the ones he used?
He just said, this is bullshit. He didn't, but...
He used the word bullshit, because that would have been a good one. Is that in the dictionary? Is bullshit in the dictionary? It should be.
Probably. Goblin mode is, so...
Goblin mode?
Is that what it is? Yeah, when you go... Yeah.
What's goblin mode?
When people go crazy. If you know... Anyway, don't matter.
No.
Wi-Fi's in the dictionary.
Well,
So...
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Cosy Lives will be in there next year as well.
Probably.
Please don't abbreviate the cost of living to Cosy Lives.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Is that what it means?
What the fuck did you think it meant?
I don't know. I don't...
Cosy Lives, the cost of living. Yes, because British people just can't... They just can't help themselves but abbreviate fucking everything.
Well, then Platty Jubs has to be in there, doesn't it?
Platty Jobs. Yes. Don't even. Don't even. J-Lo, Kim Ye, Cosy Lives, Platty Jobs. Just stop. Stop doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
It is not taking years off your life to just say the whole word.
Yeah.
It's just not.
There's nonce in there. Picture of Prince Andrew next to it.
I mean, nonce is most definitely in there.
Anyway.
But they don't have pictures in the dictionary, so maybe it just says definition Prince Andrew.
It's an acronym, isn't it? Nonce.
Is it?
Yes, not on normal exercise. What is it? How do you spell it? Nonce.
C-E.
Not on normal something exercise. Courtyard exercise. Not on normal courtyard exercise, which is what they'd write for sex offenders.
Oh right, okay.
On
Normal
the cell.
Courtyard exercise. That sounds get posh, really, doesn't it? Sounds
Yeah.
like it's something like one of the not the beef eaters, the people that stand outside Buckingham Palace with the big hats. It sounds like they've missed a step in their marching.
Yeah, no, but it's like they're not allowed out on the courtyard when everyone else is there because they'll get fucked up because they're perverts.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Get the balls.
Normal.
Flush
Yeah,
down.
okay, yeah.
Not a normal courtyard exercise. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay, fair enough.
sorry. Back to the story. I'm getting obsessed with nonsense. That's not a good thing to be saying, is it?
Ah,
Really?
YouTube, don't ban us, please. It's not what he says. It's not what he means.
Anyway, so, Parsons, his wife, John Moore, Mary Fraser, and Richard James were all sued by Kent for a conspiracy to take away his life by charging him with the murder of Frances Lyons by giving her poison whereof she died. Now, after they agreed to pay nearly £600 in reparations to his character, which is a sum of more than £100,000 today.
He doesn't have a character.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is the whole thing about
He
it.
sues everyone he meets.
Yes. So this is how he made his money, because he was a dodgy bastard in the first place.
Because he's a dick.
I don't think he murdered anyone. But who knows? So, even though they paid off...
He kind of did. He impregnated the first one who died in childbirth, and the second one he moved into a shithole who got smallpox. Technically, if you want to be all technical about it, it was manslaughter.
Yeah, okay. Death by misadventure.
Yeah. If that's what you want to call living in a council house.
Yeah, Jesus. So even after they paid off this money to Ken, they were sentenced to prison time. Parsons got 2 years in prison, and he had 3 appearances in the pillory, which is just like the stocks.
Aww. Was he singing?
No, but the thing was people took, like, they thought he got a bad rep out of this, and they had money collections while he was at the pillory. So he very rarely
He had a GoFundMe.
Yeah, he didn't have anything thrown at him. He got given money to be there.
Oh, I love it. Good for him.
Yeah. Now, his wife got 1 year in prison, and Fraser received 6 months with hard labour. Parsons was basically told he was a silly boy and he shouldn't be doing it, because he genuinely believed he was religious, so he believed he was talking to a ghost, and ignorance is bliss at this time with the law.
Then how can they charge him, really, then? If it hasn't outright said, yeah, it was me, I was faking. If he's like, no, there was definitely a ghost. How can they... Because it's a different day, maybe?
Because the amount of seances they tried to do, and the way, like, with the guy lying in the bed, there was no ghost noises. When Samuel Johnson was there, it was like Samuel Johnson, there was some other lords there and shit. And
I know, but it's not proved, is it? Like, nobody's caught him going... Knock, knock, knock. Oh, shit. No, I was asking, just checking if my neighbour was in, because I thought they might think that this was interesting if they came over right now. Like, it's not like he was caught red-handed in the act. Faking it.
No, and what you have to do is you have to kind of take your mind out of 20th and 21st century crime, because everything I have read is circumstantial. There is nothing... Like, I got that book of Victorian crimes, and pretty much everyone there is like, well, he was in the area at the time.
Yeah.
Someone died. He's a bad un, so he must have done it. Everything is circumstantial. There isn't any forensics. There isn't anyone going. And this is the 1800s. This is well before Victorian times, and people are still believing that there are ghosts. This is before, this is just pre-Burke and Hare. You know, people weren't being dissected. There isn't any science as such to it. It's just, well, I believe your word over his, so you fucking did it. Yeah. So this is the thing, and there's going to be a lot of these, because obviously I've been reading about Victorian stuff, and it is quite hilarious. But and this is it. You kind of got to take your mind away from, all right, no one saw her actually do it, but they were, Samuel Johnson and these lords were learned men, and because nothing happened when they were there, they came away with a hypothesis of what it could have been, rather than actually going, well, we saw you do it.
I just think it's a bit weird when, like towards, like, the end of, like, the 1600s, 1700s, like, we were still doing witch trials, and, like, there is fuck all evidence for any witches whatsoever, but they were like, you're a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's kind of like, you pretended to be a ghost, stop being naughty.
Yeah.
Get 2 years in prison and a GoFundMe.
Yeah. I mean, it's still 2 years in prison back then, like, was pretty shit.
Well, I suppose if it was in Bethlehem.
Exactly. They didn't have no skyboxes or PlayStations back then.
No, but he did have a GoFundMe.
Well,
So he
yeah,
could come out of prison and buy himself a nice big house.
he did earn a bit while he was doing it. But yeah, Cock Lane was demolished in 1979, unfortunately.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it had a lot of history there as well. It was made way for office buildings, but due to its history, it will be a long time before it's forgotten because it's Cock Lane, isn't it? I'd scratching Fanny on Cock Lane.
Your wife just scared the cack out of me and anybody watching. I literally saw a figure walk past the door, right? And then the kitchen light went on. And when the light went on, I was like, yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. But if she hadn't turned the light on, I'd have legit been like, the pantry ghost! It's a fucking... I fucking knew I would catch a bastard. It's a pantry ghost.
I'm going to post it on Reddit.
And you're legit, like, blissfully unaware this whole time, like...
Just going to post that on Reddit and go
for it.
Is this weird?
Do it. Do it. You'll get people saying you've been cursed by God.
I mean, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, but you'll get people actually saying you've been cursed by God.
I mean, maybe I'll get some Fanny.
God, one day I hope your wife scares a cack out of you.
And on that bombshell. And on that bombshell.
Such a dick.
This has been. Right. Oh, it's gone all weird. I'm sorry, but that was. Oh, fuck off.
Even your camera's just like, nope, no. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Right. On that bombshell. This has been the MO podcast with me, Conservation San.
And me, Atreya.
Thank you all so much, and we shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye. You're such a dick.
The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast.